think there, that one should be better. So it's about 20 of 9. And as I'm sitting down this morning, typically I will look back at some of the trades and stocks that I was watching the previous day. So GWH was one that I traded yesterday and did pretty well on. Ended up continuing higher after I left, all the way up to a high of 28.92. That's pretty awesome. So that's good to see. And by the way, for those tuning in for the watch list on YouTube and on Facebook, if you want to learn more about my strategy, you can come over to warriortrading.com/strategy. This page, which I'll go over from time to time during the live broadcast, breaks down the curriculum of the Warrior Starter course and the Warrior Pro course, and should answer some questions for you about how I find stocks to trade. This software right here is our own Warrior Scans, so this is software that our Warrior Pro students have access to. Okay, so, and those that want to register at some point for a free class, you're welcome to do that. If you go to just our website, you go to products, you can register to the free intro course. Right there. Okay, so yesterday, GWH, this was a SPAC. It was his first day, special acquisition company, first day trading under the symbol GWH. Ended up making a pretty nice move. It's currently down 6% today versus yesterday's close. It's only got 200,000 shares of volume. As a result of the gap down, it's not on the top of the gap scanner, which is typically where I would find stocks to trade, except when I'm looking at something that was strong on the previous day. So looking at something strong the previous day, sometimes we can get what we, of course, would call a continuation setup. So that's a possibility, but for me, I probably wouldn't be a buyer unless it breaks over that pre-market pivot there and then maybe back up towards this level. So I'm going to keep a level 2 of GWH on watch. So I have it there, and I could put an order and have it ready to go at $25 just for instance, but I wouldn't actually send that order until it's moving up quite a bit more. Yesterday we had a couple others, but GWH was the only one that held up well. So let's see. So that's GWH. Leading gapper this morning, WTRH, gapping up 53%. But as we can see, there are two things I don't like about it. You guys know the float and the price. Next down, NEW, new. Don't like the float, don't like the price. JSPR, $9.15. Float's fine, price is fine. All-time high is 1580. There's some news on it. Receives new coverage from analysts. That's not a very strong headline. I don't usually go for those. SNTG, high of 330. RVNC, 69 million share float. RLX, huge float. NRBO, coming down a little bit. Oh, DATS, continuation. Strong yesterday into after hours, so that's another one to watch for continuation. It's not a particularly big gap. It's only gapping up 5%, but from yesterday's move from 13 to 16, that could be interesting. Those on Facebook and YouTube, if you enjoy the broadcast, please hit the thumbs up and like the broadcast. It's good for the YouTube algorithm, and we'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. I had a goal of crossing over 1 million subscribers this year, and well, it's going to take a lot for us to get there. We're at about 900,000 right now, so 897,000. So hopefully we can get close to that level, but we'll see. So DATS, yep, so possible continuation on that one. I'm not crazy about it, but it's possible. So that one's a maybe. SMPX, yeah, curling up, reverse split, a little bit, room back up towards 20. Yeah, it's a possibility. SMPX, the float on it, 6 million shares, pretty light. It's a maybe. Thank you, Roy. Let's see, NSPR. Is there news on NSPR? I see that it's easy to borrow. The float 7.6 million shares. Usually you wouldn't see a stock of that float be easy to borrow. Costs from yesterday. Yep, so this one is pulling back a little bit. Squeeze from 16 all the way to $21, which is awesome. I think there was news on it yesterday, though. It was an Apple patent, something about a, let's see, where is it? Let me see if I can find that headline. App cost soars after Apple rebuffed in patent challenges. So shares rise 17% after patent trial and appeal board declined to review 2 of its patents challenged by Apple. Apple has not met its burden to generate a review of patents, this one and this one. Apple had to show at least a reasonable likelihood of winning its claim for wireless earphones and headphones. Cost has sued Apple and other companies, accusing them of infringing the patents. Okay. Well, so that's the news. Pre-market high is up here around 24.40. Well, the quality of that news, I mean, the fact is it resulted in the stock going from 15 to 21 and then pre-market all the way up to 24. So the market responded pretty favorably to the news. Right now, it's now starting to pull back a little bit. So I don't know. It's interesting, but it needs to move up a bit more. So for right now, it's just another stock to say, oh, it's interesting, I'll keep it on watch, but it needs to open up more and get back above the VWAP. So yesterday I finished up about 20,000. I don't have anything I'm super focused on yet, but we only have about 8 minutes until 9 a.m. And what we could have is breaking news at 9 a.m. If we got breaking news at 9 a.m., then that could give us an opportunity for a trade higher to the next level. So it can sort by price, by volume, by relative volume. Relative volume is a good search. Usually stocks with higher relative volume are the ones that can do some pretty impressive things. So GWH makes sense. RZLT. AGMH up 12%. 8 million share float, very light volume. Announces first significant order of 30,000 digital currency mining machines. So that one's moving back up a little bit. The pre-market high right now is 1193. The 200 moving average on this is around 1150 and 12 for the simple and the exponential. So it's below its resistance levels at the moment. Yeah, we often see news at 9 a.m. I'm going to put this link here. For those on YouTube, when you register to the free intro course, you get a copy of my book, How to Day Trade. So make sure you check that out. David, sorry, which one? Yeah, you can always buy a hard copy if you want. It's on Amazon. Rodrigo says it took an hour to get to my office and I forgot the laptop charger. Yeah, I've been there. Well, it looks like some Bitcoin spammers are coming out on Facebook. We give 50 Bitcoin to the community. Unlikely. 50 Bitcoin. Yeah, right. That's a no. We're gonna go ahead and block them. Facebook doesn't really seem to do much about it. It borderline makes Facebook unusable, which is why I encourage people on Facebook to come over to YouTube. So you can see all of a sudden there that pop on GWH from 2248 up to 2320. You know, when you have something that starts to pop up a little bit, it's like, okay, this is one that might be able to move, but the spreads are bigger right now. So we'll keep an eye on it. There's that pivot there around 2332 and then 2548, and then you'd be looking at previous day's high. So it's one to keep an eye on. It's not, of course, a leading gapper though. It's actually down 2%. Cost right now is gapping up 9% still. So based on the gap, just putting up my disclaimer for those on Facebook and YouTube, but just as a reminder, in case you didn't already know that trading is risky. You shouldn't try to blindly follow me or anyone else. Since most traders lose money, you should do yourself a favor and only trade with money you can afford to lose, and practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line. NSPR moving up a little bit more. Volume is still pretty light on it, 200,000 shares. And I don't see news on it. It's a bit confusing, but it's up 18%, so maybe worth watching. Nice on GWH. So GWH is just going to be about kind of finding that spot where we might see a increase in volume, where is the tipping point where we see that breakout. So notice how this is running into descending resistance right here. So we talk about ascending and descending resistance in chapter 5, support and resistance. So we're going to be watching here for 9 a.m. We'll see if we get any news headlines. If we don't have any news, then we'll be focusing on the existing gappers and continuation stocks, GWH, costs, etc. So there's 9 a.m. So watching both scans and our news feed, which is in the chat room. VIAC, Viacom, some news, but I'm not going to trade that one. SRNE floats a little higher on that. There's also some news. I believe the float's higher on SRNE. Yeah, 300 million shares. Yes, Mike, exactly. The imbalance with float and volume is an important one. stock quote, go to scanners, and then stock quote right there. So for those that are in our chat room, you can do that. So it doesn't seem like we have any particularly significant 9 a.m. headlines. So yeah, I do see that news on NSPR, but thanks, Luna. So I always prioritize students that are in our chat room, and of course at 11 a.m. we'll have Q&A session. So for Warrior Pro students, that's the place to bring your questions. So cost needs to reclaim the volume weight average price. So it bounced right off that 2070 level. GWH. So I would say GWH needs to break over $24, and then especially over 25, I would start to focus in on previous day's high, but it's just a little ways away from that level right now. So at the moment, I'm not trading it. I'm just watching to see if it starts to open up more. So as you saw yesterday, it pays to be focused, to to wait for good quality setups. This is still below its descending resistance, but it's good that volume is coming in. It's good to see that strength. I think cost and GWH are the two that have the most potential, but I'm not sure that we're going to see on costs a reclaim of the volume weighted average price. Well, yeah, sometimes trading is a little of grasping for straws, but you want to try to make sure it's at least based on some type of strategy. Cost isn't exactly a blue sky setup. You've got this day when GameStop squeezed where it went up to over $100 a share. But if it can get over, well, daily chart 26, back there the high was 43. It's going to probably take a bit more to get it up that high. So we're about 10 past 9, 20 minutes to the bell. Yeah, so the problem with new, Mike, is that the float is too high and the price is too low. So it creates this difficult combination. GWH is a double top right now at about 23.80. Floats 25 million shares. So if it can break through 24, then we would look for a move to 25, and if it can break through 25.48, then we're in good shape. So those are the places that I'll be especially interested. 25.48, then 26.27, and yesterday's highs. Now it's a ways off of those levels. It is right now. I don't know that that's going to happen. WTRH, flow too high, price too low. VWAP, volume weighted average price on cost, is 22.17. Back there, hit a high of 24. You can see how GWH is a flat top here. So a break through the flat top could be a trade to watch. Probably be a buyer over that level or into that level. Just keep it on watch. So a starter there at 84 on GWH as it breaks through that flat top. And now the high is 17, so over 24.17 I would add. So I'll add over 17. Just watching right now, see if it can hold this level. Added at 24.06. So as it breaks through the flat top, we look at a retest and then a break through 24.17. And I'm going to hold this position in my retirement account and switch to my main account with an order at 24.25 and look to actively trade it in my main account. So watching 24.25 and then a move up towards 24.50. So this right here is a break through that level, the retest, and now we want to see a break of 24.17 on GWH. So watching 24.10. Dip trade 24.02. So buying the dip there. Looking for the retest of 23.82 for a dip, and then a break off that level up to 24.17. Our next level is about 24.50. So watch the breakthrough 24.17 here. High of this candle, 17. So stopped out for a $500 loss, holding in the main account still. Dip trade added at 66. Reduces my cost basis, and we'll see if it reclaims 88 and gets back up to 24. It's a buyer down there. This is yellow ascending support line. Holding right now at 23.80. We've got 85 there. So generally on something like this, I want to see it hold that yellow support line and then get back through 2382. We've got about 12 minutes to the bell. So took the loss there of 1100. Even though we got the break of 2382, it didn't hold over that level. It floats about 25 million shares. The 82 level was the high here. So that was a flat top breakout. And it broke, but it didn't hold that level. So DATS popped up there. The high was 1680. Oops. $14 million share float. It's a continuation stock as well. It has room on the daily up to 1850, but it's a little choppy. Even on that candle, you see how it popped up, it pulled back. So we have about 10 minutes to the bell. DATS, DATS popped up but didn't hold that level. Cost is still below the volume weight average price, but if it can break that level, that would look nice for a retest of 24. And GWH, well, gave it a stab, but needs to break through the high of 24.17. So at this point, I would say GWH is a possibility. I'm red on it. Red 500 in my retirement and 1100 in my main account. So down 1600 on those two. And costs, no trades yet, but we'll keep it on watch. So unless we see one of these start to open up and move quickly, we may not have any more any good trades today. Yesterday was one of those days where on GWH we had some good action going right into the bell as it started to squeeze up, if you recall. So it squeezed from 14 to 16 and then at the bell up into a halt. So it was the last, like, you know, kind of 10 minutes before the open. JSPR. Yeah, it needs to get back over volume weight average price. Same with costs. Well, I have two accounts. I've got my retirement account and my main account, so they're both red right now, but I can switch back and forth between the two. So I actively trade in both. In the retirement account, I don't have as much money, so I took a position and was planning to just hold it and see if I could get, you know, just let it work for a little bit. So this costs coming up to the volume weight average price. The question, of course, will be whether or not it can break it. So I have a starter there on the break of VWAP. I'm going to buy the dip for a squeeze up to $23. So costs, I'm going to be adding at 75 and 85, watching 22.75. And then 85 for the move up to 24. So I'm going to hold this in my retirement account, and I'm going to switch to my main account and start actively trading. High of this candle right there is $22.90. So now I'm watching for a trade over $23. Yesterday's high was $24.40, so we're looking for $24.40. So watching cost to buy the dip. Added at 83 on costs in my main account. Now looking for the break through $23 as this moves higher. 1 minute micro pullback. So this might be our GWH style trade into the open. The next add for me would be over $22.90 for the break of 23. So watching $22.90. There's a 10,000 share bid. Waiting for the break through 90. First 1 minute candle to make a new high. So just holding right now for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high and a break through 20, 22.90, 23. The nice thing about this setup is with 3 minutes to the bell, we could get a trade just like GWH where we get a squeeze into the open and then a halt up. Watching for a dip off the $0.50 of $22.50. So added there $22.62, buying the dip. We're waiting for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high and then a break over 23. High of this candle is 22.77. 3 minutes to the bell. Watching on the pullback, support at 22.50. Added at 22.53, buying the dip. Still looking for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. High of this candle is 22.65. We're up 17%, which makes this our 5th leading gapper today. So the levels that I'll be watching on this will be back through $23. The high here, $22.90 to $23, and then up to $24. Volume weight average price is at $22.23. And we have 2 minutes to the bell. So looking for that trade at the open. Pretty much the same as what we had on GWH yesterday at the open. So at the open on GWH, we had this squeeze up into a halt at 18.13. So cost similarly squeezing up here, breaking the VWAP before the bell. 90 seconds to the bell. First 1 minute candle to make a new high, and then looking for the break of 23. One minute to the bell. First 1 minute candle to make a new high is 65, so that's a possible add spot. Less than a minute to the open. So if we break over 65, then I'll look for 75, 85, and 95. So I'm going to put an order at 22.65 to add. Watching. There's 64, waiting for 65 to add, and then looking for the break over 23. Halt level going up, so watching for the add over 23. Adding right there, 75 for the breakthrough 23. So a bit of chop there, still holding 2,500 shares. Puts me basically flat on the day. No, up 1,000 in my retirement, down 2,000 in the main. We'll watch for dips, JSPR. So we hit a high of 22.92, but then dipped down there right at the open. JSPR, I don't like that one because it pulled back too much. Costs, we'll wait for it to break over 23 to come back. DATS over 17. I don't know, maybe. Cost is selling off too much. So down $1,000 between the two accounts right now. Watching DATS, DATS. Long DATS. Now looking for the squeeze up to 22 at 17.25, 17.50. This one's starting to move quickly. High is 29, so watch over 17.25 on DATS. Added at 17.11, buying the dip. Now looking for the break through 17.25 and then 17.50. Low of this pullback here is 16.39. Stopped out, cut the loss. 7,000 on that one. So that's a good size loss. Usually when these pop up over $0.50, they continue, but didn't hold that level. GWH, that one's a little ways away from the right spot, I think. JSPR, moving up a little bit more, but now it's back above VWAP. Halt levels at 84. One of the challenges is having a number of different stocks on watch. JSPR did have news this morning. Yeah, COS and GWH both have a very similar pattern. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know about SMTG. Floats 5 million shares. APEN hitting the scanners. Easy to borrow. Not super familiar with that stock. Well, we'll see if JSPR gives any opportunities. The move up to a halt, and then the high is 1090. $15.80 is all-time high. So 1580's a back of mind level to watch. So JSPR is showing 10:34 resumption. So we'll see where it resumes. Given costs and GWH weren't super strong, we'll need to see JSPR prove itself a little bit more. So watching JSPR, orders at 1090. We'll watch to see if it gives us a dip and rip. No resumption yet. Hang on one second. Well, PALT doesn't have news, which is tricky. 1057 was the high from a couple days ago. Seems like there's a seller at 1050. Of course, if it can break that level, then you're looking at a move up towards 950. If you can break 950, you're looking for a move to 10. Right, so there's 59, 58. Let's see what it does. No trades on it yet for me. High is 59. A little choppy. Let's see. Let me look. See, I'm not a buyer on this down here. It is below the volume weight average price, but with that choppy open, I'm not a buyer. Showing 1055 on JSPR. So we'll be watching resumption. Could have jumped in it at 950, the break of the $0.50, and then held into the halt up, but I didn't want to jump in it too quickly. I wanted to see if it could prove itself. Similarly, could have jumped in PALT at 950, and well, it went up 9 cents before reversing. So, you know, sometimes it's better to let it prove itself and then start to jump in and look for places to actively trade it. So for me, if it opens higher and just sells off, that would be what happened with GWH at the open yesterday. We had the gap up here to 1948 and then it sold off. Now it ended up curling off that level and moving up later in the morning, but that was later in the morning. So JSPR, what's it going to do on resumption? If it breaks through 1090, realistically, our target is going to start to be 1580, which is the daily highs. So I'm putting my order at $11, so it's ready to go. Actively trading these, dip and rip. If we start to get some nice clean momentum, start to scale up. If it starts to get choppy, I'll start to scale back until it gets cleaner. So watching for a trade here. So quick long there for the breakthrough 11 and taking profit, so I sold. Now I'm going to let it pull back and adding there for the squeeze up to 66. So holding small size, not a huge winner, but so that's 2 trades in a row, 2 halts in a row now on this. Holding small size 1146. So with this one being this strong, I mean, the thing that's disappointing was that I didn't get initially a very good entry. SNTG, nice to see it hitting the highs there. This one, price is a little bit lower. Daily chart is pretty nice. Possibly over 25. But already it looks like a seller's coming back in. So of course JSPR was on the gap scanner this morning, so could have easily traded it sooner, but I didn't. Cost needs to prove itself to me a little bit more. I'm glad to see it bouncing up, but when you have a big red candle at the open, that always makes me a bit nervous. PALT, this one, if it can recover 950, then we might look for a move up towards 10. Especially given how strong JSP, so I'll take a long there for the break of 950. Given how strong JSPR is, I think PALT is going to get some sympathy momentum. So watch for the add over 50. Watching 10 on the ask, watching for 987, adding right there. So is it going to break through? And it seems like there's a hidden seller, so I bailed out. I took a $500 loss on that. It either breaks right away or I'm out. There was a hidden seller at 950 that wasn't breaking. I'll put my order at 960. If it comes back up and tries again but breaks, then that's fine. JSPR is going to be on watch on resumption. Once we have one momentum stock, then we start to look for sympathy momentum. JSPR is our primary stock. PALT was possibly sympathy. SNTG is possibly sympathy. Possible, not sure. JSPR. So, we have 2 halts in a row going up. I'm a buyer out of the first halt and I'm a buyer out of the second halt. After a third halt, I usually start to sit on the sidelines or just hold existing positions until it looks weak or gives fresh setups. PALT, a bit of a ABCD pattern on the 1 minute. Watch if it can break through 950. I put my order at 960 because I want to see it confirm that it can break that level. The 5 minutes a little premature, which could be a problem. There's 47 on the ask. and then another dip back down to 38, 37. So we'll watch JSPR first. So I'm going to put my order at 1250. Let's see how well it holds up here. If it continues to squeeze higher, we're going to start to be focusing in on that $15 level, but let's just see what it wants to do. It's a bit extended here. Probably the safest thing will be to watch for a pullback. So sold the rest for now. I'm watching a dip. So watching a dip and then back through the high. Added at 87, bought the dip for the break of 1225. You see how it's starting to base out. The high of this candle is 1220. 1220 is an add spot. This is forming its first 1 minute pullback. Watch for the add over 12. And then up to 1220, 1225, and 1250. Watching for a dip off of 50, the $0.50. Added at 44. So bought the dip there. We'll let it base out and then look for the curl back up to 12. Next add spot is going to be 1165 and 75. Volume weight average price is 1079. You've got some good strength on it overall. So watching the 10-second chart for that curling pattern. Now it's starting to curl just a little bit there. We'll look for the break back over 1150, 1160, and 1170. No, I'm going to cut the loss. It didn't hold up. So red on the day. We had some nice momentum, but this didn't hold up. On that pullback there, it just went lower. My stop was the low right there, which was 1113. Got filled at 1105. It's possible, like GWH, this will give us more opportunities later this morning, but the momentum right now is just kind of subsiding a bit. So it's kind of tough because you had that squeeze, but it didn't keep going the way I thought it might. High was 2041. So to me, it makes more sense to cut the loss and then look to get back in when we have a new setup. So I went from green on JSPR to red on it. But it is holding right at the volume weight average price. The low is 1086. So holding the VWAP is good. But what levels does it need to break to get back up to the high? Maybe 36 and 46. So now looking for an order at 75 and 85 to add for the break back over 12. Watching for the add. Adding right there for the break through 12. Now 1225 is the next add spot. Added right there, 1250. We're looking for the squeeze into the halt up. Bought the dip at 44. Now watching for 75. This is some good strength. Nice recovery. Like I said, I don't mind adding back. New orders at 12.50. Added at 12.50, now looking for 12.75. High of that candle, 12.75. Taking my profit for right now. New order goes at 13. Oh, false halt. Watch for a dip. Buying the dip right there, 33. Now looking for the retest of 75. So when I can buy the dip, now we're looking for the move up to 13. New order is at 60. Taking profit, high is 678. New order goes at 78. High of that candle, 1278. High volume on the green candle of recovery. So high of this candle is 1278, leaving my order at 1278. On the 10-second chart, we're consolidating in this range here. 65, 75 are the places I'm going to be a buyer. I'm going to let it pull back for a second again. Watching. So it's kind of breaking down a little bit here on the 10-second chart. It's up 71%. Let's see if we can get a dip off of this pullback, off of 12. Added at 1228. Average is 1238. Then over 1250 and 1260, I'll be adding for a test of 13. Dips clearly are getting bought up on this. Added at 1258. Next add is 1270 right there. Now looking for the squeeze. There we go. Not bad. New order goes at 13. Taking profit, now letting it dip, of course. Added at 71. Now looking for the break of 13. We've got a high, there's 13. I'm a buyer over 13. Added at 13 right there. There's 13.20. High of this candle, 13.20. I took my profit, new order goes at 13.20. Add right there, now looking for 13.50. Watch this up to 13.50. We're looking for 13.35, 13.45, 13.50. These dips are getting bought up, so I'm adding here at 13. Now looking for 13.25, 13.55. Nice momentum here. High of this candle is 13.32. New order goes at 32. A little choppy. Stopped at 13. Let it pull back for a second, and then new order's 32. It's up 83%. Added at 30 or 29, just 2,500 shares to start. I'm looking to add 20. There's a seller. I'm going to look for that seller to break down and then add. Stop it out again for now. So high is 31. Some pretty big momentum, some big green candles on this. So now we're getting 2 candles of pullback again. So need to start thinking about where's the next green candle going to come in. High is 1331. Daily level, we've got room to 1580, and then it's blue sky. This 1 minute candle is about to close. Starter at 87. I'm starting to look for that first candle to go green again. Holding right now at 87. Add would be 13. Add it at 13. Next adds 13.10 and 13.15. So watching 13.10. Added at 13.10. Now let's look for 13.25. Same thing as before. That squeeze up through the highs. 13.30 add spot. Added there. So there we go. Nice. We got basically the same thing. We got the pullback and then that green candle. The high of this one is 69. New order goes at 70 if it wants to keep going higher. Trade with smaller size when it's extended and then look for the next dip. High of this candle is 1369. So orders at 1369. Now we might get another 2 red candles, but let's just see what it wants to do. What can sometimes happen on these is that they start to break loose. So adding right there, now looking for 14. I'm looking for short covering. Add is $14. Watch 14. Added at 98, looking for the breakthrough 14, then 14.27. Nice, took some profit, new order 14.50. So now we're starting to break away a little bit. High is 14.46. Watching dips. Have to adjust the 10-second chart. Next order is 14.46. High is 14.46. I'm not a buyer right here. I'm going to wait a second. Halt level needs to move up. So I'd be taking profit up there. We're a little extended. I need to wait for the next pullback. So big recovery there from down 11,000 to up 8,000. 1580 is our daily level. I'm waiting for a pullback to manage my risk because we have 3 green candles in a row. Or for the halt level to move up enough that I can catch a nice trade. I probably could have jumped in that at 61, but I hesitated. Kind of waiting for one of those panic flushes, one of those big red candles. A big red candle can be a buying opportunity. It could be all the way down at 14. So there's the first red candle coming in. This is where you'll see some profit taking, maybe some short selling. We know it's extended on the 5. High is 14.82. I'm watching around $14. High of this candle's 82. So depending on how quickly we rebound, if it bounces right back up, you could get immediate short covering through the highs, but let's just watch for a second. My order's at 15, ready to go. That's a bottoming tail candle. I'm going to take a starter there at 40. I'll add over 55. Adding there, now looking for 75 and 85. So what you're getting there, that's a nice squeeze. New orders at 15. High, 93. I'm a buyer over 93. Looking for 93 to break. Watching. Add at 88 for the break of 15. Next add is 98. Adding at 98. So a little choppy there. Actually took a loss on that trade. The high was 27. It broke, but did a false breakout. So now I'm going to let it pull back. and then try to find the next entry. So from down 10,000 to up 10,000. What a wild day. So the level that this needs to hold would be back over $15. Now I am still red in my main account. I'm down 2,000 in the main account, but I'm green in the retirement, and that's important. So we're back at the 20 moving average, watching for a dip. Dip trade at 53, just 2,000 shares to start. We'll see if it breaks back over 65. No, I'm gonna take the small loss on that. It either goes right away or it doesn't. I think this might be the place where we get a bigger pullback, but I'm gonna keep it on watch. So the high of that candle's 15.27, that's our high of day. New order goes at 15.27, that way it's ready to go. Good idea. So these patterns right here are bull flag patterns. So we focus on this primarily in chapter 8, the first and second pullbacks, which is what we got right here and right here. These were the cleanest. This one here and this one here. This one was a little tough because it pulled back quite a bit all the way to the VWAP, but that's okay. So I gave back a little profit on it and then recovered what I gave back. So up 16,000 on JSPR. Be nice if I wasn't down 7,000 on DATS, but you know, it's the way it goes. Nice, Bob. So JSPR, where's the next level to be a buyer? If it breaks over 75, I'm adding right there. Now I'm looking for this over 85 and 95 for a retest of 15. This is very strong what it's doing right here. When they squeeze up like that, if it breaks $15, we're gonna see a squeeze to 15.27, and we might see a move up to 15.50. I'm gonna hold right now and I'm gonna look to add over 15. Watching. So right now on this, I'm looking for that recovery. It's a bear trap is what it is. And I'm gonna look for the add. I'm not selling yet, I'm looking for the add over 15. Added right there at 88. This is very bullish, this kind of pattern. So we're gonna look for 95 and then a quick rip through 15. This is very strong. There we go. Nice. Took some profit off the table on the break. Got filled at 15.09. New order 15.20. Can it hold 15? Double top, not surprising, 15.20. Added on the dip down there at 72. New order 15. So I'm going to be actively trading this. Highs 15.20. If it breaks 15.27, that's the spot that really needs to break. I thought it would have gone right away. Hit a high of 15.20. Still very bullish to have that red candle and then this kind of recovery. Leaving my order at 15. I'm going to move the order up to 15.30. $15.80 is still our daily target. And if we break that level, then it's a blue sky setup. So it's still early at 10:08, and we've got some good momentum here. Dip trade at 46, spot the dip. Next add is over 65 and 75. Add at 68. Sold the rest at 64 for now. New order is at 15. It's a little early, it's a little premature for it to go right over 15 here. But let's see if we keep basing out. That was a nice dip entry. Yellow ascending support. Add at 75. Next add is 85. Then 95. Watching over 14.85. So when it comes up, I'm going to be watching the level 2. And as soon as that added there at 85, as soon as that seller starts to come in, or starts to get bought up, I add. So looking for the break through 85, there's 90. Sold the rest for now. We'll let it dip down again to ascending support off of 14.50. FCUV, I see it on the scanners. I'm gonna hold on that for a second. I'm not sure. We could be getting sympathy momentum, but just have to be a little careful. So the best setup on this is going to be to buy dips and then add into 15.30. So added right there, starter 89. Next add's going to be over 98. So we're looking for that break. You can see how it's curling up here. Nice. Okay, so right now I'm still holding. I'm going to look to add at 45. Add it at 41. Now we're looking for a squeeze up to 15.80. Watch this, over 65.75, adding at 60. I'm going to keep adding on this for the squeeze all the way to 16. Next add is 15.85. 16.37 is the halt level. Added right there. Can we get the break through 16? There we go. Taking some profit off the table. What a trade. What a trade. High of that candle, 16.35. New order, 16.35. Putting the order at the high, watching dips. It's a topping tail candle. But what a break through 15.27, over $1 a share. 15.27, and it goes all the way to 16.35. So why did I think that was going to happen? I recognized the pattern. Where's the pattern? This was momentum. It's buying a break a high a day. It's a $0.5 whole dollar at 16. It's a bit of an ABCD setup. It's also on the pullback, but it's a strong ABCD pattern. So from down 11,000 on the day to up 18,000 on the day. What a swing. So it's not uncommon for it to break a level and retest it the way it's retesting 15.27 here. So retesting 15.27. So the question is, should I be a buyer here? And I think the problem is that this red topping tail candle is making me a little nervous. I could do a dip off of the pullback at 27, but I also want to be grateful for the recovery and the gains that I have. The 5-minute, it's a nice 5-minute breakout, but it went all the way to 16.35 and we're down $1 a share off those levels. So we'll see what it does. So JSPR 75 on the relative volume. It was a 20% gap, but it's up 112% from yesterday's close. So I'll say that this one was pretty clean. A little choppy at first. I sort of chased it and went red, but then was happy to get back in. I kept the loss small, was happy to get back in, and then got some more opportunities. Now with that topping tail all the way up there at 16.35, unfortunately it's starting to pull back a little bit. So while it pulls back, sometimes that's when another stock will start to become the focus. So it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the scanners as one is in a pullback consolidation mode to look for the next one. And we got that 1580 daily level too, so I mean, we couldn't have asked for a whole lot more except for I have not to have lost on maybe DATS. JSPR, it appears, is not ready to give up. So where would I be a buyer? Well, the high of this level is 75. So 75 and 85. Adding there at 75, next add is 85. Added at 85, now looking for the break over 16. Watch over 95. This is doing the same thing it did before. This is awesome. Add spot 95, watching right here for the add, and then the trade over 95. Added there at 93. There's 98. We're looking for that break through 16 and then a squeeze up to 16.25. Watching, taking some profit just to be safe. I'm going to let it dip. New orders at 16. I'm going to try to buy the dip. It's still strong. Added at 83 on the dip. And I'll add again in the 70s and then add over 95 and 96. It's not ready to give up yet. It wants one more shot at high a day. So watch now over 95 as it's reclaimed this level. We've got 75 on the bid. This is a 10-second pullback. There's 87. There you go. Okay, so this is a moment of truth. Is it gonna? How well is it gonna hold 16? New orders at 1630. I'm a buyer over 1620. It's got to prove itself. Can it hold this level? Bought the dip at 1603. Now looking for 1615 and 16. Adding right there. Now looking for 1650. Watch this here. There's 1640. There's 1650. All right, new order 1653. Watching. Boy, this is strong. 1675. Adding at 72. Now looking for the squeeze over 17 into the halt. Watch an ad over 1695. Watching my ad here for the squeeze into the halt going up. Added at 17 right there. Wow. Okay, so we're at all-time highs now. This is a blue sky setup. I didn't think it was going to recover that red doji, but it did. The high is 1730, new order 1730. So we are holding blue sky. I'm going to watch the pullback. So we're getting those really big, strong moves. That move up to 16, so nice. So now it's pulling back a little bit. This is not surprising. The question is, where could I buy a dip? We didn't get a halt. I thought we would, but we didn't. Added right there for the break back over now, 17. Next ad's 85. So we're looking for the break of 17. That continued momentum, 85, 95. There's 96. You can see how it's jumping. Okay, so watching here for the breakthrough 17, then 1725. This is an ABCD pattern. There's coming up to 17. Watch for the ad through 17. Giving it a chance. We want to get that break of 17, then 1715, 1725, and 1750. I'm going to buy dips on this for the ABCD pattern. First 1 minute candle to make a new high. So watching, added at 1680, bought the dip. Now looking for a second attempt through 17. You've got a nice bid there, 79 on the ask. So we want to see 88, 98, second attempt. I'm going to put a new order, stopped at 62, new order is at 17. I'm going to let it pull back and try to buy the dip off of $50. Watching, there's a bid down there, but I missed it. Low of that candle is 55. Oh my gosh, DATS. Ooh, look at that. Look at that drop. Well, good thing we're not focusing on that one. Added right there, starting to scale in again on this 10-second chart. Next ad is over 85 and then 95. Added 88. Let's look for this to break through 17. There's 95. Can we break 17? Yep. Took some profit on the break. High is 1730. New order goes at 1730. Can it hold this level? It's another topping tail on the 10-second. Watching the dip. So now we're pulling back again. The high is 1730. We have a double top, kind of the way we did at 1527. Needs to hold over 17. So up 20,000 on the day between the two accounts, up 22 in my main account, from down 11,000 to up 22, up $29,000 on JSPR, just on one stock. Down 2,000 in my main account. So $20,000 green day. I was up 20,000 yesterday, so that's 40,000 on the week. One of the things I said yesterday is waiting for good quality setups and then getting aggressive when we find them. 4 stocks like this in the month. If I have 4 trades on something like JSPR in this month, I'll have a $100,000 month. That's 29,000 just on one stock. Yesterday we had a couple others that were really good. This one today was even better. So tomorrow, if I don't see anything that looks good, it's okay not to trade. I got a little too aggressive on DATS. It started to pop up. I thought, all right, here we go. And I jumped in and it just reversed immediately and I caught a $7,000 loss. Then on JSPR, I was a little hesitant at first. I chased it, made 3,000 and then lost like 8,000 on it or 7,000 and went from green to red. I was down $11,000 on the day. So down 11,000 on the day, and then as it squeezed back up, recovered to flat, then to green, and up 22,000. I think my high was 23,000. So it's a good day. It's 10:30, and that's it. I'm shutting it down, taking the money off the table. Maybe this goes higher. GWH went higher without me yesterday. GWH, I stopped trading it. It went up to 28 bucks. But I still walked away with 20,000 on the day yesterday, and I'm going to do the same thing again today. $20,000. It's a great day. So 2 great days back to back. And with that, I'll live to trade another day. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow. Remember, Warrior Pro students, 11 a.m. mentor session. So that'll be in the Warrior Pro room. And of course, you're welcome to study up in the meantime. You've only got 30 minutes, or study this afternoon. And just always try to get better. Keep practicing. Practice in the simulator. Remember, as always, that my results are not typical. Most beginner traders lose money. And you shouldn't try to blindly follow me or anyone else. I heard someone say earlier on the YouTube channel, they said, oh, if you blindly followed, who blindly followed Ross on JSPR and lost money? And that was when I was down 11,000. Well, you shouldn't be blindly following me. That shouldn't be your attitude. You should be learning from me. You should be trying to understand why I'm a buyer, where I'm a buyer. Sometimes I'm red, sometimes I'm green. And if you blindly follow, well, you're always going to be a little bit behind. Your losers might be bigger, your winners might be smaller. You've got to learn to find these types of setups on your own. But that's what I teach. I'm happy to teach you. I'm happy to share it with you. So you guys know that. And we had a couple of new classes that we added. Course Chapter 16, my entire small account challenge. Live trading archives from the whole challenge are available. So from $4,300 to $30,000. That's all available, so you guys can watch those, Warrior Pro students. Got taxes, accounting, of course, but we added to the high-speed breakout trading. I added 2 sections on this. One was specific to low float and low volume, some of those parabolic momentum stocks, and another was specifically on scaling out. So make sure you guys study up. All right, so with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you back here tomorrow. We'll do it same time tomorrow. Those on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. When I go live, you'll get a notification. I didn't do any live broadcasts during the summer. So I was traveling quite a bit, and it was kind of just taking it a little slow. Summer trading often is a bit slower anyway, so took it a little slow this summer, but happy to be back in the saddle here and giving you some morning show content, which I hope you guys really enjoy. Obviously, you don't have to do it, but I'm happy to do it for you guys and appreciate the thumbs up. You guys help the YouTube algorithm know that this is a channel worth tuning into. So thank you for doing that. And as always, if you have questions or you want to learn more, this is what I do. Every day I trade, and if you want to join the classes and you want to learn the ins and outs of the strategy, you can come over to warriortrading.com/strategy. If you want to join one of the free classes, free intro course right here, you can register to this class and you can go ahead and watch it. Students that join this class will get a discounted offer to join the Warrior Pro, to become Warrior Pro students. Typically, I think that if someone watches an entire free class like this, it tells me you're motivated and want to keep learning. So check that out if you're interested. If you want to see my broker statements, you can of course see them on our website. I always try to remind traders that my results are not typical and that most traders lose money. We don't track the typical result of our students. We're not in a position to be able to do that. So I don't want you to assume that you will be a successful trader just because you are a student. It still takes a lot of hard work. But I'm happy to teach you, and we'd love to have you part of the community. YouTube broadcasts are slightly delayed because of YouTube servers. In our chat room, our broadcasts are basically ultra low latency. We use high quality servers, and it's very, very fast. Okay. Feel free to rewatch this later today. Glad I cut my loss on DATS and moved on to something else, right? So sometimes you're wrong. Cut the loss and move on. I cut the loss on PALT. I lost 486 on that. I cut the loss on GWH. But once I started to get something that was working, JSPR, I started to get aggressive. I got in the zone, and you guys see what happens when you get in the zone. All right, thanks again for tuning in today. I'll see you for the morning show tomorrow.